From Lunga Lunga to Lamu.
Moyale to Vanga.
Loitokitok to Shimoni.
This is Prime Edition coming to you live from Broadcasting House in Nairobi, Kenya.
Good evening. My name is Mboya.
I am Muchuma Odim.
Top in this live broadcast.
Gachagua in court.
Impeached Deputy President writes to the Judiciary questioning the inter-parties hearing scheduled for Tuesday. Playing his last card?
Impeached Deputy President to battle for his political survival Tuesday before a 3-judge bench. Stop the sideshows.
Tana River senator accuses the impeached DP of trying to whip emotions over his assassination claims.
Well, all that is coming up at this hour plus.
UN COP 16 is underway in Colombia.
Well, we may be getting a link to Colombia. Our colleague Sarafina Robi is there, so do stay with us. But first things first, let's go into our top story tonight. Impeached Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has written to the judiciary requesting an investigation into how one of the cases challenging his impeachment was assigned to a 3-judge bench without explicit direction from the Chief Justice.
In a letter to the Deputy Registrar of the High Court, Gachagua, through his lawyer, John Njomo, says it appears there is a coordinated plan to undermine his rights by denying him a fair trial. Benson Chumba begins our coverage tonight with our sign language expert tonight being Lensa Odingo.
In a 6-page letter to the Deputy Registrar of the High Court, impeached Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua questions how a 3-judge bench was hastily convened on Saturday to consider an application seeking to uplift an order blocking the swearing-in of Interior Cabinet Secretary Professor Kithure Kindiki as Deputy President. Gachagua, through his lawyer John Njomo, claims that the jurisdiction of the Chief Justice is being usurped as one of the cases challenging his impeachment was moved from Justice Chacha Mwita to a 3-judge bench without the express direction of Chief Justice Martha Koome. In the letter, Gachagua's lawyer alleges there is a well-orchestrated plan to undermine his client's rights by denying him a fair trial from the National Assembly to the Senate. Gachagua's legal team asserts that the 3-judge bench, comprising Justices Eric Ogola, Anthony Mrima and Fred Mugambi, was constituted to oversee 6 cases and is set to address 2 more on Tuesday, October 22nd, despite not being appointed to handle those cases. The judges are also accused in the letter of stating there was no open date to hear the petitioners' cases until October 29. However, when the government approached the same bench with 2 new cases, the bench managed to find availability for hearings before the 29th, including a sitting on Saturday, October 19th. The 3-judge bench is scheduled to hold an inter-parties hearing on Tuesday to consider a suit challenging Gachagua's impeachment. Ben Chumba, Prime Edition.
All right, let's now cross over to Colombia. The UN COP 16 has kicked off.
Of course, we understand that the Colombian president and UN Secretary General has called on the importance of preserving biodiversity. Our colleague Sarafina Robi is there. And let's now cross over there. She is. Sarafina, what do you have for us at this hour? Sarafina, we can see you. You're probably looking at us now. What do we have? What do you have for us at this hour from Colombia? Sarafina Robi there, of course, probably having a bit of difficulty getting us. We know that the Colombian president, Gustavo Petro, and the United Nations Secretary General has called on the importance of preserving biodiversity. We know that 33 NBSAP has been admitted. 105 parties have submitted their national targets. Of course, once we get that connection stable, we'll be crossing. Oh, there she is.
There
once
she
again.
is, Tom.
Yeah, there she is.
Yeah.
One of the three other conventions that are held by the United.
All right, Sarafina Robi.
COP29 that will be held Baku in Azerbaijan, but it is on biodiversity that is being held here in Cali, Colombia. And it's one of the biggest implementations COPs that is being held ever since the beginning of all the other conference of parties that have taken in place. It was first instituted in 1992, and thereafter it has been happening.
All right, Sarafina Robi giving us an update from Colombia. This as she attends an environmental forum in the country. We'll be linking up with her in our subsequent bulletins as she brings us the latest as the UN COP16 kicks off in Colombia.
Very well. We apologize, of course, for that connectivity hiccup there. But let's look at an item now here in education. 2.2 million candidates are set to sit this year's Kenya Certificate of Secondary Examination in 10,565 centers beginning Tuesday.
The Kenya National Examination Council says it is ready to administer the examinations, which will be conducted under tight security.
This comes as pupils are also preparing to sit for the Kenya Primary School Education Assessment next week.
Joseph Wafungu with the details of the final preparations.
Mashujaa Day festivities, systems go for Form 4 candidates who are set to sit for the national examination starting Tuesday. According to Kenya National Examination Council, NEC, this year's Kenya Certificate of Secondary Education KCSE exam will run from October 22nd to November 22nd.
In total this year, ladies and gentlemen, 1,313,913 candidates will sit for the Kenya Primary School Education Assessment KPSEA, while 965,501 candidates will sit for the Kenya National Certificate for Secondary Education, KCSE.
In Murang'a County, 31,651 candidates are set to sit the exam.
Katika KCSE, wasichana watakuwa 16,146 na wavulana ambao watafanya huu mtihani wa kidato cha 4 ni 15,538. Kwa ujumla tutakuwa na wanafunzi wa KCSE 31,684.
Murang'a County Director of Education Ann Kihilu confirmed that requisite arrangements have been put in place to deter exam malpractices, even as head teachers in the county exuded confidence in the preparation of their candidates for the final exam.
Tumewaambia wasiwe na uoga. Tumehakikisha kwamba hakutakuwa na jambo lolote litafanya huu mtihani tusipate kitu inaitwa zero irregularity.
Additionally, the exam body says it will administer the Kenya Primary School Education Assessment KPSEA, which is part of the competence-based curriculum CBC between 22nd October and November 1st. 1,303,913 candidates are scheduled to write this assessment in 35,573 centers, which will also mark the completion of grade 6 education for students nationwide. This year's exam come against a backdrop in which the school calendar was disrupted owing to flooding and, in some instances, protests.
Take this opportunity to wish all the candidates throughout our country, Kenya, to wish them a very good performance and a moment that is peaceful, hopeful, joyous, even if challenging, but a moment that one can say that it's a good moment in one's life.
Joseph Wahungu for Prime Edition.
Of course, we do know that the impeached deputy president has written to the judiciary and he's questioning the inter-party hearings that have been scheduled for Tuesday. But there's something from the DCI?
Yeah, news getting to our newsrooms that the Director of Criminal Investigations has told the impeached deputy president, Rigathi Gachagua, to report to the DCI headquarters tomorrow.
And of course, the reason behind that invitation is that on the 20th of October, 2024, during a press conference, the impeached DP publicly stated that there had been multiple assassination attempts on his life, and that letter goes ahead to quote him, and it quotes as follows: on August 30th in Kisumu, undercover security agents entered the DP's room according to that presser, bagged that room, and one of the undercover security agents made an attempt to poison his food. That was detected according to him, and that he was, alongside his team, able to escape the scheme. And he wraps it up. It's a long letter, but he says that he was supposed to be killed by food poisoning. It has been signed by J.K. Marete, who is the director of criminal investigations.
Well, we have able team keeping a close eye on the latest developments from the DCI in regards to the impeached deputy president Rigathi Gachagua. However, still on that note, Tom.
Tana River Senator Danson Mungatana has faulted impeached DP Rigathi Gachagua over his allegations of a plot by the state to assassinate him, urging him to stop the sideshows.
This comes as Majority Leader Kimani Ichung'wah dismissed claims he is angling to be nominated to the position of Interior CS following the approval of Professor Kithure Kindiki by the National Assembly as Deputy President nominee.
Timothy Kipnusu with the details.
The allegations by the impeached Deputy President Sunday of a plot to assassinate him by the state has been received with criticism, with Tana River County Senator Danson Mungatana faulting Gachagua over his utterances.
Sasa hii mambo yote, siku hizi zote, hatukusikia mpaka siku ile tumekuondoa. Mpaka siku ile tumekupigia Senate kura kusema ondoka, ndio sasa unatuambia nilikuwa nataka kuuawa, hata wale ni wabaya, yule ni mbaya, huyu ni mbaya. Unajua mwanaume kamili, kama mnaenda mnafanya kitu na we umeshikwa na wenzako hawakushikwa, huwezi simama uanze sema sikuwa mimi peke yangu, nilikuwa na yule na yule na yule. Haiendi namna hiyo.
Mungatana cautioned Gachagua against utterances that could spark tension in the country. The senators cautioned leaders against making statements that can polarize and destabilize peace and unity in the country.
Kuwa makamu wa rais ni kitu Mungu amekupatia, yani ni baraka kubwa sana. Ingekuwa kila asubuhi unaamka ukiomba Mungu, lakini imekuwa kila asubuhi unaamka unaenda kuteta pale, unaenda kuteta pale, unaenda kuteta pale. Sisi hatutaki namna hiyo. Sisi wa Kenya tunataka amani.
Elsewhere, Kikuyu lawmaker National Assembly Majority Leader Kimani Ichung'wah has downplayed claim that he is eyeing to take over the helm of the Ministry of Interior with the nomination of Kithure Kindiki to deputize the president. Speaking at Pangani, Kilifi County, Ichung'wah said that he was contended with the majority leader position in parliament.
Nimesikia mko na maneno mpaka iko kiongozi aliongea hapa akasema wewe tunaona uende waziri wa interior. Lakini nataka nimwambie huyo kiongozi, mimi niko na kazi. Nastaki watu wachanganyikiwe. Muliona niliongoza mambo ya mswada wa impeachment huko bunge, na niwashukuru hao wabunge wetu sababu wote walishirikiana na sisi.
Timothy Kipnusu for Prime Edition.
Of course, we should be crossing over in a moment or two to Colombia to join our colleague Sarafina Robi. But first, a section of business people now say that the current political climate is affecting the business environment in the country.
A spot check by KBC Channel 1 in Kiambu County revealed that most businesses are struggling to remain afloat, with most of them yet to fully recover from the various disruptions that have been experienced in the country post the 2022 general election.
And as Frederick Parsayo now reports, business people have expressed growing pessimism over the current political situation surrounding the impeachment of Rigathi Gachagua and its potential to negatively impact investor confidence in the country.
Constant disruption through protest, labor strife, and unending politicking, which has now been further fueled by the impeachment of Rigathi Gachagua, is negatively affecting the country's development, especially the business environment in the country. Yes. A spot check by KBC Channel 1 in Kiambu County revealed a stark reality, with many business people saying their businesses are struggling to stay afloat.
The environment that our government that is giving us is not conducive for our business. The politics of now and then has really affected our business. What we elected them for is for them to go and make policies that are affecting our business positively.
They say the political climate is negatively affecting investor confidence, with some of them opting to relocate to other countries, hence affecting the forces of demand and supply.
There's no growth. Big investors are leaving this country to other environment like the neighboring countries to go and do their business there. So people are running away, and also there's no money circulation in our country. Reason being, there's no conducive environment that has been caused by the political instability in our country.
These business people growing pessimism in the business environment, further aggravated by the impeachment of Rigathi Gachagua. Business people are now calling on the government and politicians to refocus their energies on service delivery to Kenyans instead of championing for only issues that benefit them.
Most of our leaders, they are not giving priority to the economic activities which we as a business fraternity we expected.
Tunaomba pia uongozi uliopo uheshimu mahakama ikuwe na freedom ili waweze kufanya ama kudischarge their duties without frustrations or favor. Hiyo ndio tunaomba kwa serikali, na sana tunaomba amani.
Parsai Frederick, Prime Edition.
Many thanks indeed, Parsayo Frederick, there for that report. And we do know that, COP16 is taking place in Colombia, and the big issues there are being discussed around preserving biodiversity. I don't know whether we cross over to Colombia now or we take a break.
We take a break. We'll be back with more, with the detail and clarity you deserve.
Okay, just stay with us.
Welcome to the Kenya Deposit Insurance Corporation, or KDIC, a state corporation established under the KDI Act Cap 487C. But who exactly are we? KDIC provides a deposit insurance for customers of member institutions. This means we protect your hard-earned money deposited in banks, giving you peace of mind knowing that your savings are safe. KDIC is also mandated to receive, liquidate, and wind up troubled banks, as well as provide incentives for sound risk management. We are here to protect your bank deposit and, together with other safety net players, ensure a stable financial system. KDIC, safer, stronger, together.
Welcome back to Prime Edition. Again to Prime Edition, our socials at KBC Channel 1. Let's have our Monday conversation on our social media platforms at KBC Channel 1. All right, we cross over now to Colombia. Serafina is on standby.
And there she is. Serafina, thank you for your patience with us. We apologize for that earlier hiccup there. Serafina, you are attending the COP16, and we know world leaders, activists are in attendance. What do you have for us?
Of Party 16, which is being referred to as COP16, as I mentioned earlier, is that different countries, different parties are attending this COP16, Kenya included. About 192 parties or countries are attending this COP16. Now, this is one of the biggest implementation COPs that is happening ever since the beginning of COP CBD, which started in 1992, and thereafter it has been happening in intervals of 2 years. So the last COP15, the last COP, which is COP15, happened in 2022, and with it there was the adoption of the Kunming-Montreal Protocol, whereby different countries agreed to a number of terms, a number of things that they're supposed to adhere to, and some of these include the National Biodiversity Strategic Action Plan, whereby they're supposed to review and submit their National Biodiversity Strategic Action Plans by the 21st of October, which is today here at COP16, but only 33 countries out of 192 have been able to submit their NBSAPs, or the National Biodiversity Strategic Action Plans. Some of the countries that have not been able to submit their NBSAPs include Kenya and other East African countries and African countries. The only East African country that has been able to submit its NBSAP is Uganda, but Kenya has not been able to submit, nor Tanzania, nor Somalia, Ethiopia, Burundi, Rwanda. All of them have not submitted their NBSAPs apart from Uganda. However, Kenya was able to submit its national targets by the end of July. We have the Kenyan delegation that is attending this COP16. We were able to meet them yesterday during the opening ceremony, where the UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres, as well as the Colombian President Gustavo, and also the Environment Minister here, who is Amina Susana, who will now be taking over, will be the president of COP16, were able to call all countries into action in order to save biodiversity. And some of these things are going to be deliberated upon during this COP16, and also in regards to finance on matters biodiversity, finance biodiversity credits, which are like carbon credits, but now in terms of biodiversity. In terms of funding, during the Kunming-Montreal Protocol, there were agreements that they were supposed to channeling about $200 billion annually up to 2030 to help support biodiversity, but up to the moment, only $250 million has been put in regards to conserving biodiversity. So there's a very big gap, and also in regards to this, most African countries have had issues in regards to financing, saying they have not been able to receive biodiversity funding, and those who have received it are saying that they have received it as loans, which are very high interest, instead of receiving it as grants, so that they can be able to conserve biodiversity. So we're going to be speaking to the Kenyan delegation later on, whereby earlier on in the morning, right now it's about 1 p.m. So earlier on in the day, we are going to be speaking to the Kenyan delegation to get to understand what are Kenya's main agenda or priorities in regards to the 23 targets in the Kunming-Montreal Protocol, and also the 4 goals for 2050, to get to understand that. Also, last night I was able to speak to the Kenyan delegation that said the CS environment head in Duali is expected to be getting into or coming into Colombia towards the end of the COP16, which is maybe from 27th or 28th, to get to sign into some of the agreements that will be achieved during this COP16. There's so many other things that also being discussed here in regards to equitable sharing of resources, in regards to also digital sequencing information, whereby they're saying that when you get DNA or RNAs from different species in different countries to use them for maybe medicinal value, then that country also needs to benefit. The indigenous people of that country also need to benefit from that. So these are some of the things that are going to be discussed here, and some of the issues that are being called the DCI fund, which are going to be following up to get to understand how it's being discussed. So I'm going to wrap it up here from Cali, Colombia. I'm Sarafina Robbie. I'm handing it back to you, Tom, and Erin back at the broadcasting house.
Many thanks indeed, Sarafina, coming to us from Colombia. There we do know that delegates from 196 countries are discussing, among other things, the pathways of obtaining financing for biodiversity. Of course, there are challenges that we have had from all the COPs that have taken place, the first one being in 1992, and even the very latest one that happened in 2022. A lot of the stakeholders saying that there was an issue around putting those agreements into action. And of course, that's an area that a lot of you are interested in. We'll be tracking for you. Sarafina is still out there.
All right, right, Tom. Under the theme Peace and Nature, environmentalists have converged in Colombia, and we'll be looking more into that. Okay.
Now let's come back home here, where stakeholders in the education sector have called for promotion of digitized learning to foster a reading culture among who?
Children, led by Director of Partnerships at the World Reader Organization, Olivia Kimani. The stakeholders say the move will help bridge literacy gaps among the children, reiterating on the urgent need for concerted efforts between public and private partners to enhance access to quality education in the country.
That's right. Here is that report in more detail.
Monday morning at the Kenya National Library in Nairobi, education stakeholders converged to award top book readers children in a campaign dubbed Mashujaa wa Kusoma initiative aimed at inspiring children to embrace digital learning. Here, the stakeholders led by Director of Partnerships at the World Reader Organization, Olivia Kimani, emphasized the importance of leveraging on technology and digital platforms to make learning more accessible and engaging for children.
Technology has bridged the gap. It's become an equalizer. There are many cases where we are finding children do not have even a single book that's age appropriate in their house. So when we have a lot of books, and our plug Book Smart is able to, has within it more than 2,700 books. So imagine what a child is able to be exposed to.
Highlighting the hurdles bedeviling digitization of learning and the reading culture in remote areas in the country.
Nilikuwa almost natumia kama shilingi 100 ili nimwekea apate bundles. Ulikuwa ukiweka kama, for example, ukiweka kama ya 1 hour inaisha kama mtoto acha complete kitabu.
We must get children from across the country to get involved in so that they can be able to have the skills and the learning opportunities that are available. So I'd really encourage the different partners join in, because the power of partnership is one that will ensure that our children in Kenya and beyond have the capacity.
The culmination of the forum was the issuance of awards to children aged between 3 to 12 years who are honored by celebrating their accomplishments and encouraging others to embrace a reading culture.
Thank you very much. We've realized that kids can read over 1,000 books in 3 months. So that's quite a challenge. What we believe is that it will stir up others so that they can take up this challenge and they become readers.
Participants advocated for a blend of physical and digital learning to boost children's intellectual and personal growth.
I like to encourage children out there. You read books much, you read books. Don't just stay on TV because television will not help you.
I'd like to encourage our parents to encourage their children to be readers as opposed to be children glued on gadgets. And gadgets are good, but reading books is a better culture.
John Kahiro, Prime Edition.
This is a big one, though a sad one.
That's right. A family in Kamai village, that is in Kiambu County, is pleading for assistance following the death of their kin, whose hospital bills have exceeded 2 million shillings.
The family says it has limited resources and are unable to cover the costs, calling on well-wishers to assist them settle the bill to bury their kin.
Here's that report.
Faith Mboya, an aunt to the deceased Gladys, who was an orphan, shares the family's struggle with her ailment.
Lakini kalikuwa katoto kazuri, alafu
Sasa akazidiwa sana, tukampeleka Kenyatta, amekaa ICU for 2.5 months. Alikuwa mgonjwa sana.
After being admitted to the ICU at Kenyatta National Hospital, her health is said to have deteriorated despite ongoing treatments.
Sasa bili ikashoot ikakuwa 2.8. Sasa hiyo bill tunaona imetufinyilia juu ni kubwa sana, na unaona pia na dawa tulikuwa tunanunua akiwa kwa board, unatumwa nunua hizi dawa, tukangangana, lakini sasa venye alipasa katuachia hiyo bill imetulemea.
They are now appealing to well-wishers for urgent assistance to enable them bury her.
Hata nikijaribu aje, hata explain kwa daktari huko, tukawaambia venye tuko na venye mahali venye tuko, tukajaribu kuwaonyesha sijui sisi hatuna, hata tuwezi fika hata tukijaribu.
Hata tukifanya harambee gani hatuwezi. Serikali tusaidie, maana inasaidia watu wale ambao hawajiwezi.
Kwa mwenye tu atasikia huruma tu atusaidie tuweze kupumzisha huyu mwili.
To support Gladys' family settle the hospital bill, you can channel your contribution through M-Pesa number 0740250665. Name, James Githenji. Paulina Simiu for Prime Edition.
Pauline Nasinio for that report. But then, Tom, how will Kenyans be recognized for their iconic contributions?
Good question. And our next story explores those options. The National Heroes Council is tonight saying that it is in the process of developing a mechanism to recognize Kenyans who have made positive contributions to the country's development, both locally and also on the global front.
Right. The National Heroes Council Chief Executive Officer Charles Wambia says the mechanism is contained in the Council's strategic plan, which clearly outlines how those to be honored will be recognized.
Here's that story.
On Sunday in Kwale County during Mashujaa Day celebration, President William Ruto honored 142 heroes and heroines for their outstanding contribution to nation building in various fields. Among them, a pupil at Hillside and Arusha Primary School in Nyeri County, Louis Ngumo, who was honored for championing for human rights, and Dr. Ruben West, who was honored for humanitarian diplomacy and World Civility Ambassador.
I'll try to continue more better than what I did last time, and to be helping the community and the country.
I'm excited to receive this honor, but what it really does, it inspires me to serve even more, even greater, at a higher level.
I am humbled and honored because it's a great achievement for what I did and what I do in the continent.
I've been identified as a philanthropy, a category of philanthropy, and this philanthropy is in education. My focus is education, helping Kenyans to achieve higher level of literacy, from literacy to basics to higher education.
The National Heroes Council, involved in identifying individuals to be honored, said it was in the process of creating an elaborate framework that will help Kenyans both within and without to be identified and recognized.
Those regulations will provide those other benefits we wish them to achieve, like having an identity card to be recognized on places and be given room as heroes, having a badge or having a sticker on their cars, those who have cars, so that they can be taken in and be given accorded that respect.
The National Heroes Council Chief Executive Officer Charles Wambia saying the regulation of identifying such individuals are contained in the Council's strategic plan. He further challenged heroes and heroines to make use of their recognition for positive change in society.
So when they go back, no sleeping. They are going to be noted by the society. So it's actually them to challenge themselves to do much more better than what they have done to be honored.
Those honored were identified from various fields such as philanthropy, spiritual leadership, indigenous knowledge, arts, sports, research and environmental conservation, human rights, national cohesion and integration, and entrepreneurship, among others.
Police in Kakamega County are hunting for a woman who has been linked to the death of a 55-year-old man.
The man's body was found in a lodging he allegedly frequented at Shibuli Market, Lurambi constituency.
Meanwhile, a family in Siembeni area of Kibwezi, Makueni County is crying for justice after their kin was brutally murdered by a person they say is well known to them.
Tilio Marco with more.
Witnesses say some Viagra tablets and condoms were found beside the lifeless body of the 55-year-old man. They say his death might have been as a result of ingesting the tablets.
The
owner of the lodging, Velma Achema, says the deceased was a common customer, arrived at 11 a.m. and booked the lodging before a woman appeared shortly and joined him.
Vijana wangu walikuwa busy wakijua mteja baada anapumzika. Kijana wakati alienda huko ilikuwa mwendo wa saa 1 ya usiku, akapata mwanamke hayuko, lakini mteja amelala chini.
The body of the deceased is lying at the Kakamega Referral Hospital awaiting postmortem.
Zile madawa ipigwe marufuku. Sababu si kitu ya kwanza, ni kitu inafanyika. Hata juzi kule Makunga tulisikia kuna mtu alipatikana kwa room na hizo makartazi, na msichana ametoroka, hizo madawa zimemshinda na nguvu, amekufa.
Meanwhile, a family in Siembeni area of Kibwezi, Makueni County has to endure the pain of losing their loved one who was murdered by a person well known to the family. The family says they are not sure they'll get justice for their kin Peter Kasim, who was brutally murdered last week.
Watu wakajaribu kumtetea, watu kadhaa ambao mtu alikuwa anajitokezea peke yake, anaona mbona pale kuna mtu anapigwa, akifika wanaona ni Peter, akijaribu kumtetea wanashindwa sababu wanaona huyu mtu ni mkali, ni kama amekuwa trend.
Na mambo imekuwa tu inafanyika na hakuna mtu anashikwa, hakuna mtu anawekwa ndani na pia hakuna mtu anafungwa. So inaonekana watu hapa wamezoea kuuana na hakuna jambo linafanyika.
The area residents are now demanding that relevant bodies ensure the culprit has been brought to book, failure to which they threaten to take the law into their own hands.
Sasa sisi kama watu wa Siembeni tunataka haki yetu. Kama huyo mtu hajashikwa kuanzia sasa, sisi tunataka haki yetu.
Kama watachukua hatua lazima na wao wasikanyage hapa Siembeni. Siku ile tutawaona tu, lazima tutachukua hatua kama wananchi, kwa sababu hiyo si haki ya mtu kuuliwa na hakuna kitu amefanya.
The deceased was working as a guard at Siembeni Market. And finally, police are investigating the alleged murder of 52-year-old Ann Amimo, who was reportedly stabbed repeatedly by a stepson.
Boniface aliniambia kuna mambo huyo yanamsumbua, na tulikuwa na fundi mwingine akasema ati hapa kuna watu ambao wanasumbua yeye, na ameambiwa na waombaji, na hao waombaji walimwambia, akataja majina, akasema baba huyu Wesanza, alafu akasema mama yake.
Nilikaa kama siku 2-3, akaniambia madhe, hata kama umeruti hapa, mimi kwa hii nyumba yangu silalangi. Nikamuuliza kwani haulalangi, shida ni nini? Eti kuna vitu huwa vinatembea kwa nyumba yangu vikininyonga. Nikamwambia suluhisho ni maombi.
The suspect is said to have attacked her on allegation she was responsible for his misfortunes through use of demonic powers. The early morning tragedy took place at Shironyanga village, Navakodo constituency, Kakamega County. Tilio Marco for Prime Edition.
Right, residents of West Pokot County occupying public land have been told to vacate to pave way for construction of affordable housing.
That's right. The County Commissioner Khalifa Abdullahi has warned residents who have grabbed public land to leave before they are forcefully ejected.
Here now are the details of this and other stories making news from the counties.
West Pokot County Commissioner Khalif Abdullahi said the government has identified sites for the affordable housing projects in Bendera, Alale and Sigor prisons land, while the economic stimulus program market sites include Makutano, Alale, Ortum and Sigor markets valued at 205 million shillings.
Taka chini tuone mahali serikali, shamba la serikali kama ilinyakuliwa na wananchi pia tutarudisha.
Wale ambao wamekalia ardhi ya serikali tunataka kujenga affordable housing. Before we move you, mwanze kuondoka, wananchi wa Pokot wapate miradi kama ile ambayo inapatikana na wananchi wa nchi wa kaunti zingine.
In Busia County, Disco Matanga has been blamed for the increase in defilement and incest cases. Busia County Commissioner Chaunga has urged take care of their children, especially during the upcoming long holiday season, urging them to be vigilant.
Hivi vitendo ambavyo si vizuri, tafadhali tuvikemee. Tujaribu kushikana mikono, viongozi wa serikali zote mbili, ya national government na county government, pamoja na viongozi wengine wote, tuweze kuzungumzia kuhusu swala hili waziwazi, tulikemee jambo hili na turuhusu sheria ifuate mkondo wakati tatizo kama hili linapotokezea.
In Mandera County, the government has officially initiated the upgrading and refurbishment of Banisa Level 4 Hospital, a crucial project aimed at serving more than 2,000 households in Banisa sub-county. The initiative seeks to improve access to quality health care for residents in the area, reducing the need for long-distance travel to Mandera Referral Hospital to seek treatment.
And this is going to be a game changer for us. We'll reduce the cost of referrals, which is always very, very expensive for us, save more lives, support the primary health care we have been talking about, because this hospital is a hub for about 14 other dispensaries and health centers within the sub-county.
In Kiambu and Kiamba sub-county, there has been confusion among elders under the church on whether to call off the boys' circumcision this year or not, due to the transition of education calendar to grade 9. Elders have held a consultative seminar with parents who are willing to have their kids go for the cut and agreed that the boys must go for the rite of passage even after a section of elders called off the exercise.
Kwa hiyo wale vikundi wanasema watastahili vijana, sasa hawa watakaa hivyo, lakini kundi yetu ya wazee kiama sisi tuko tayari kutairiza vijana.
Finally, the Heritage of Hope and Faith Children's Center in Mlolongo, Machakos County has benefited from computers and 1 million shillings courtesy of Ecobank Kenya in collaboration with M-Pesa Foundation Academy and Wild International. Ecobank Kenya, led by its group CEO Jeremy Awori, said that the future of Africa lies in empowering the younger generation with skills in IT and artificial intelligence. Awori further said the initiative will ensure that beneficiaries of the program are equipped with basic literacy, numeracy, and digital skills, which will also give them a good foundation for their future.
These children will be digital natives. They will only know that computer. They will not know anything else. The rest of us have to learn these things. They won't even really need to learn. It will be effortless. So we have to really think about education in a new way, think about how we engage them, our contribution to education.
For Prime Edition, I am Teresa Mutai.
This week on the Cabinet, we focus on Raphael Tuju's career in President Mwai Kibaki's administration.
His tenure as the Minister for Information and Tourism is attributed to the expansion of the media landscape with key emphasis to local content.
Jackie Wambiru takes us there.
Raphael Tuju was born on 30th March 1959. He went to Majiwa Primary School in Siaya, from where he joined the Starehe Boys Center in Nairobi. Tuju holds a Master of Degree in Communication from the University of Leicester, United Kingdom. Before joining politics, Tuju worked as a consultant in design and implementation of public communication programs. Among other organizations and agencies he consulted for were the World Health Organization, the United States Agency for International Development, the World Bank, the Department for International Development, and the United Nations Development Program. Tuju had in the late 1980s and early 1990s worked as a primetime television news anchor. Between 1992 and 2001, Tuju was the founder and director of Ace Communications. Besides, he had produced and directed several documentaries, television and radio commercials for international agencies, private sector bodies and public institutions. He had been a columnist for local newspapers, particularly the East African Standard. Even though the KANU government had partially liberalized the airwaves in 1996, rapid expansion of the broadcasting sector started in 2003 when Mwai Kibaki became Kenya's third president, appointing Tuju the Minister for Information and Tourism. In line with the NAC vision, Tuju oversaw the allocation of numerous frequencies to private investors. This resulted in the birth of more than 50 privately owned radio stations in Kibaki's first term. It was during Tuju's time at the Ministry of Information and Tourism that vernacular radio stations began popping up in large numbers, with a marked growth of the privately owned television stations. Tuju, who served as the Member of Parliament for Rarieda between 2003 and 2007, got into NAC thanks to his affiliation with Odinga's Liberal Democratic Party, LDP. This explains why his fallout with Odinga resulted in him losing the Rarieda parliamentary seat. On 8th August 2003, Tuju announced that beginning 1st of January 2004, local television stations would be required to broadcast a minimum of 20% local content. For radio stations, he set the ratio at 30%. Soon after his appointment to the Information and Tourism docket, he was determined to have the Kenyatta International Convention Center taken from the KANU party leadership. He cited an executive order by the president and pointed out that the building belonged to the government and not the ousted ruling party. Tuju served Kibaki's administration as the Information and Tourism Minister until 2005. In the run-up to the 2005 referendum, Tuju formed the People's Progressive Party. The Kibaki-Odinga feud caused divisions in the Kibaki's first cabinet. It was in this scenario that Tuju, Mudia Wari and George Saitoti switched allegiance to Kibaki. In the new cabinet, Kibaki appointed Tuju Minister for Foreign Affairs. Tuju served as the Minister for Foreign Affairs until the end of the first term of the Kibaki presidency. In 2007, Tuju was appointed as Special Envoy and Presidential Advisor in the government. Tuju served President Kibaki as one of his advisors until 2011, when he resigned to focus on his 2013 presidential bid. Afterwards, he formed Party of Action, the political vehicle through which he purposed to run for the presidency. In 2017, Tuju became Jubilee's party's Secretary General, securing his place in the list of names of 9 trusted appointees President Uhuru Kenyatta inherited from Kibaki's administration. Jackie Wambiru, The Cabinet.
Hapa ni Butterfly Care Center. Na watoto hao wanahitaji proper improvement kwa dormitories, classroom, kitchen, vyoo, mahali pa kuogea na mahali pa kuchezea. Pamoja tuna nguvu, na ndio maana star 570 hash option 4 kuna probox na 1 million Kenyan shillings. Inamaanisha kila stake ambao unacheza nayo ili kushinda probox au 1 million, part of it inatengwa ili kuimarisha maisha ya watoto wa Butterfly Care Center. Iko na ni mpya na inakufaa, na ni star 570 hash option ya 4. Pamoja tuchezi tu, tunasaidia na tunashinda.
Good evening to you. My name is Daniel Wahom and welcome to Prime Edition Sport. The national under-17 women's team has been eliminated from the ongoing FIFA under-17 Women's World Cup after falling by 3-0 to North Korea in their second Group C match played at the CFC Stadium in Santiago de los Caballeros in the Dominican Republic. The team coached by Mildred Cheche will now play Mexico in their last Group C match on Thursday. Both teams are out of contention after losing their first two matches, with England and Korea DPR proceeding to the quarterfinals in the group. The Kenyan Queens began their campaign on a sour note, losing by 2-0 to England. And in another match, England came from behind to beat Mexico 4-2 at the KBC Stadium, while Poland thrashed Zambia by 2-0. Tomorrow, the US will take on South Korea, while Colombia will play Spain.
As the ball flies into the back of the Kenyan net. Chun.
And the national under-20 soccer team head coach Salim Babu has tipped Rising Stars to perform well at next year's Under-20 Africa Cup of Nations finals after the team qualified for the championship despite losing in the final of the Sekafa region qualifiers, which ended over the weekend in Tanzania.
The national under-20 soccer team Rising Stars arrived back home Monday after finishing second in the 9-team Sekafa regional qualifiers. Their second-place finish was enough to see them through to next year's under-20 Africa Cup of Nations finals.
Kenya wote pia walikuwa wanangoja tu qualify kwa Cup of Nations. Alafu pia team vijana kwanza pia walikuwa na morali ya kuqualify peke yake. So nafikiri imekuwa jani nzuri. Preparation pia imekuwa nzuri, ukiangalia federation na government pia wametusimamia vizuri. So tumekuwa na preparation ya 2 weeks, tuseme to 14 days. So imekuwa nzuri.
Tunajua sisi si watu wa mwili kubwa kubwa. So and our coaches also, he also knew, and our strongest point was tuweke mpira chini, tucheze touch, na tulikuwa our end goal ilikuwa lazima tu win tu. So I think and most of the team there zilikuwa wako vile wazuri kwa mpira. So I think hiyo ndio ilitufanya tukakam out so that tuliweza qualify kuweka mpira chini na kucheza poa.
With the continental ticket already in the bag, adequate preparations will be vital in helping the team impress on their debut.
Tukipewa preparation hata 1 month na sasa hivi tunaenda kuza level nyingine, na tukitoka hapa sisi tu prepare kama tuko Kenya, kama tunaweza enda hata kama ni Europe, hata kama ni West Africa, kama countries at least level ya football inakuwa juu. So nafikiri tupewe time kama hiyo hata 1 month, tuseme tumekaa hata West Africa huko, nafikiri tutafanya kitu wa Kenya wajaiona.
Hivyo tunaenda si level rahisi juu tunaenda kukutana na more experienced player. So inabidi to work more, but tuko na team poa. Hii team kama federation inaweza ikue pamoja next time tukipatana. I think tuta make it.
It's a different level, of course, and this current level where we've been, I think we've had the great support from the federation itself, from the government, and we are so grateful. And I hope in the next level, the support will be also good. And me personally, I believe we have all the things, we have all the players, we have all the talent we need to qualify.
The under-20 team is composed of largely players who featured for the under-18 side last year, a blend that has been hailed as a progressive move in building a formidable future senior team.
In this team that played in Tanzania yesterday and came up second place, we had no less than 6 players who have come through those ranks, and I can name them for you. Ibrahim Wanzala, we have Baron, we have Kevin Wangaya, we have Andreas Odhiambo, we have Gatimu, and you have the other Odhiambo, Fabian Odhiambo, the guy who came in as a sub. Now, this just shows that with proper structure, we can have a very, very good team in the future.
I want to take this opportunity to congratulate the team for the good performance and qualifying for the AFCON. And that is really a great achievement.
Kenya will be participating for the first time in the Under-20 Africa Cup of Nations finals scheduled March 2025 in Morocco. Bernard Okumu, Prime Edition.
Nairobi City Thunder qualified for the Africa Basketball League Elite Round of 16 after finishing second during the Eastern Division Group D qualifiers held in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania. Thunder sealed their slot in the Elite League after seeing off Jeshi la Kujenga Taifa JKT of Tanzania 83-63 in their final round-robin match. Thunder won the first and second periods 20-18 and 23-0 respectively. Despite losing the third quarter 23-20, Thunder sealed their win with a fourth quarter victory 25-11. Thadahan opened their campaign with an 89-58 win against the Seychelles Beauvaillon Heat Basketball Club before slumping to a half-basket loss 88-89 to Uru Nani of Burundi. Thunder also beat Madagascar's GNBC 96-60. Thunder and Burundi's Urunani, who finished the competition unbeaten, will now represent the region in the elite round, which will bring together a total of 16 clubs.
James so far hits the first.
With the dates for the national football elections fast approaching, aspirants are intensifying their campaigns in efforts to woo voters. Presidential candidate Hussein Mohamed and his running mate McDonald Mariga were at the Coast region, where they met football stakeholders, urging them to vote wisely during the December 7th elections. This and other stories in our local wrap next.
During a football symposium that drew participants from the 6 coastal counties, Hussein Mohamed and his running mate McDonald Mariga urged delegates in attendance to make a wise decision during the polls, saying they would revitalize beach soccer in the country. Hussein, who will be having a second stab at the country's top football seat, also underscored the importance of proper sporting infrastructure at the coast. Hussein will battle for the presidential seat with 8 other candidates who have shown intention of vying. The Football Kenya Federation Electoral Board is expected to publish the final list of contestants on November 2nd.
We must take this opportunity, environment, coast region ama Mombasa, to attract not only sponsorship but big competitions. So beach football will be on top of our agenda. La pili, kutoka tupate independence nchi. It is a shame that hatuna FIFA standard international stadium coast. It is one of the things I will champion with my team.
Padalini pale mashinani, hata wale si wetu, tuongee nao, tuambie saa hii ni change, kwa sababu watu wametunyanyasa, hakuna kitu imekuwa ikionekana hapa. Sasa tukienda hapo mashinani tunawaambia wao umefaidika na nini? Kwa hiyo jimu imeisha, ulifaidika aje? Huyo mtu ulimpigia kura, ulionana naye? Hii timu hapa zinahangaika juu ya transport ama nini? Iko solution tunaweza tafuta. Tukiwa kama timu ya Mombasa hapa, tutafute hiyo solution.
Also, Cyrus Barmasai and Grace Mwangi clinched victory in the men's and women's 21-kilometer races during the Standard Chartered Mombasa Satellite Run. Cyrus Barmasai clocked 1 hour, 16 minutes and 52 seconds to win the men's race ahead of Boniface Kiprotich and Eric Shikuku, who are ranked in 2nd and 3rd positions respectively. Grace Mwangi clocked 2 hours, 24 minutes and 3 seconds to win the women's race, as Tamnai Miriam and Molly Yanda were placed in 2nd and 3rd position respectively. The Satellite Run attracted a total of 650 participants who took part in the 21-kilometer race and the 5-kilometer family fun run and the 10-kilometer races. This year's Nairobi Standard Chartered scheduled October 27th here in Nairobi. Finally, Muthaiga Golf Club's Dr. Bupinda Ril and his son, 12-year-old Joven Ril, emerged the winners of the Shujaa Memorial Parent and Child Golf Tournament held at Muthaiga Golf Club. Dr. Bupinda and his son returned as score 38 to finish first ahead of George Wainaina and Abby Wainaina, who came in second with 35 points. In the junior girls category, Kanana Mudhomi emerged the winner with 42 points, while Princess Tai Kavore was second on 37 points. Joven Ril won the junior boys category with 46 points. The tournament was held in honor and memory of Karaoke Kavore, who holds the record of the youngest hole-in-one player at Muthaiga Golf Club. The tournament was also used to raise awareness on chronic children's diseases. Bernard Okumu, Prime Edition.
Kenya's Karan Patel and co-driver Tosif Khan in a score of Fabia R5 successfully retained their title at the Rwanda Mountain Gorilla Rally. Patel completed the event 1 minute and 44.8 seconds ahead of Uganda's Joshua Mwanguzi and co-driver Hamuza Lwanga, who took second place in a Subaru Impreza N12. Kenya's Nikhil Sachania, navigated by Deep Patel, and a Ford Fiesta finished third. The 24th edition of the Rwanda Mountain Gorilla Rally contributed points to drivers competing in the African Championship, led by Karan Patel, who now has a total of 140 points and has secured the African title. And they will be awarded during the FIA General Assembly that is expected to take place in Kigali, Rwanda, between the 8th and the 13th of December. That's the sport for tonight. More coming your way tomorrow, including, keeping up with what's happening at the CAF General Assembly that's taking place in Addis Ababa tomorrow. Back to you, Irene and Tom. My name is Daniel Wahome.
Good, Tom. Wahome, thank you for the latest in the world of sports. Good to see you.
Okay, I thought I had Tom, but that's okay. We're both on the same set. Well, here's the deal. That's what we had put for you together on the day that the DCI invited the impeached Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua to appear to record a statement on the assassination claims that the impeached Deputy President made.
In regards to that, the DP is expected to be answerable to the DCI in what the DCI says on 20th of October during a press conference. He publicly stated that there had been multiple assassination attempts on his life. Plus,
also in Colombia, our very own Sarafina Robi is in attendance. Remember the UN COP16 kickoff, and a defining moment for the biodiversity framework goals that are looking at 2030 as the target timeline. So Sarafina is there. She will be putting together a report which we hope to air in the bulletins that are coming after this. But we want to thank you really indeed on behalf of the entire Prime Edition team for watching. My name is Tom Mboya.
Thank you for your time. Thank you for your feedback on our socials at KBC Channel 1. Our sign language expert tonight is Lensa Odingo. I am Muchuma.
And we'll be back again tomorrow. Good night from Nairobi, Kenya.